All right, my name is Alan Davis, and I'm doing a 6-minute talk on the Rosetta Orbiter and Philae lander. So, just an overview, we're going to go through an introduction of what this mission actually was, what the goals of it were, how it landed, which is the first time that this has ever been done, the operation, and what we have currently. So, to start with, it was a 10-year mission by the European Space Agency to land a probe onto a comet. The comet's name is 67P Churyumov-Gerasimenko. I'm not saying that again, so I'm just going to refer to it as the comet from now on. And so the Rosetta is the orbiter that was sent as a probe to basically orbit the comet. And the Philae lander was going to be the first man-made thing to ever land onto a comet, take measurements, and study the comet's behavior, basically as it moves through the solar system. So the goals of the mission were to catch a comet, land a probe on it, and have the satellite relay information back to Earth. 2-year study of the behavior, so to see how it changes as it moves closer to the sun, because they got it as it was heading towards the sun. And then also wanted to be able to monitor how it changes as it leaves going back around the sun. Because this isn't something we've ever been able to observe close up. We've been able to see comets do this, but they go really far out and have really long cycles, so we couldn't actually ever monitor one, at least at this point, that goes around its complete cycle. So they decided to get it as it was heading in towards the sun and then see how it changes when it starts going away. So the goals from this, they wanted to see that a comet has a nucleus and a coma, and to see, basically, get some detailed pictures of the comet's nucleus, because normally when we see a comet, we see like the stream of it. We don't really see what's actually there. So be able to document the composition of it, outlines the physical properties of the comet, and then basically, how does the coma actually work? What's coming out of it? What does it do? From close up. So for the landing, this is an actual picture right here of it taken from the orbiter when it was going into land. And this is just a 3D, or just a visualization of it landing. So it didn't exactly go according to plan. It was supposed to basically head towards the comet, which has a really low gravity, and then fire harpoons from each of these landers that would sink into the ground and basically just winch it there. And from there, it would have screws go in. But the harpoons misfired, which was probably due to that one of the thrusters, by the time that this thing got there, which was, I think, like 7 or 8 years in space, one of the thrusters malfunctioned, and the harpoons basically just bounced off, and it bounced a few times before finally settling down. So it ended up landing in a place that it didn't want to land in, like not optimal for getting sunlight to charge its batteries later. However, from there it had screws that attached it to the comet. But the harpoons still, they tried to refire them and they would not fire. So, for the operation, basically both of them have like small nuclear cores that produce some energy, but not much, and a lot of solar panels. So, the Rosetta has the massive wings like you would see on a satellite to charge the batteries, but obviously as it's gotten farther and farther away from the sun, it's using them less and less to conserve power. And it will get better as it moves closer towards the sun. It also, they wanted to take pictures, close-up pictures of asteroids. They had it set up so that when it went out, they got some of the closest pictures of asteroids and best resolution that we'd ever had before when it went through the asteroid belt. So those were also part of the mission. But then the lander was supposed to recharge its batteries using solar panels as well. But due to the fact that it didn't end up in a location it wanted to be in, it hasn't been able to do that very well. So it had basically about a month, or a little under a month, that it was able to communicate when it got close to the sun, which was a term called perihelion. We'll discuss that in the next slide. But it only managed to work for about a month sending information. And it was basically just call and response. It didn't have enough battery to actually send any of the data or run any of the sensors. And we haven't heard from the lander since then. We've still been able to take a lot of high-resolution photos of the comet as it's been moving through. Another issue is that the cold temperature. It needs to actually generate its own heat, which, since it doesn't have the battery power to do that, might not happen for a while, if ever. So, some of the important results. It reached its closest location to the sun, the perihelion, August 13th last year, and this is a rendering of that. They discovered that the layers of the comet are melting away because it's mostly like ice. And the actual color has been changing of the comet from the pictures that we've got from the orbiter. There's also a field really close to the comet that has no magnetic field, because normally we have a magnetic field in space, even a small one from solar wind. But this shows essentially what it does is it generates a shield from its own field, which allows for there to be certain areas. And while Rosetta itself can't get close enough to find it, it finds it every now and then, because these flares right here are basically the boundary layer between the magnetic fields. And it'll find places that there is no magnetic field on that boundary. So at the perihelion is the point that's closest. We can just see that this is how the colors have been changing from the images we've been getting from the lander. And near the sun, it's losing up to 300 kilograms per second of water. Meanwhile, when they first approached the comet, it was losing 300 grams a second. So as we can see, it's basically shutting off 2 bathtubs full of water. And we're able to see things that are going underneath based on the time. And this is the actual orbit of it right here. So as you can see, it actually moves in closer to Mars. And that's what we're documenting right now. So that's it. Any questions?